Another classic with Holiday, another heartbreaking loss. Hello, everybody. Terry Bennett here on the Muenster Hornet Football Show, the Week 3 edition here. As the Hornets fall to Holiday in another great game, 48 to 45, or 48 to 44, excuse me. You know, last year was 49-35, and I love this matchup. I hope it continues through the next few years. This is such a great matchup for both teams. For Muenster, Casey Carney continues to be Superman. He ran for 222 yards and 3 touchdowns. He threw for 250 yards and 4 touchdowns. He also played very well on defense. Dustin Croft had a big game as he had 2 touchdowns. And it's a tough loss, and I know you get so close and then you lose, but at the end of the day, this is what's going to make this team better going into district and going into the playoffs. And that's why, while it sucks, it's at least you can say, hey, we played a good program, a great respect between the two, a fun game both years. And that's the kind of non-district games you want to play when you're the Muenster Hornets. Now, if this is your first time to check out the show, we'll be talking to the head coach of the Hornets, Brady Carney, as we do each and every week. We'll talk about the game that was. We'll talk about the game that is. And sometimes we'll talk about some other things. We'll have some fun, asking some more personal questions about his coaching styles and stuff. I'm trying to do a little bit more of that this year and just not get caught into the what happened last week, what's going on this week format. You can get kind of tired head coaches shows when you do that kind of stuff. So we're going to stretch that out a little bit more this year going forward. But anyway, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, it's the head coach of the Muenster Hornets, Coach Brady Carney, right here on the Muenster Hornet Football Show, brought to you by the Booster Club. Here at L4 Media, we talk high school football, 4A, 3A, and 2A in Texas. We talk East Texas sports. We talk NFL, guy talk, movie, and booze. We also talk wrestling and so much more. And you can see it all on our YouTube channel at L4 Media Company. Like and subscribe. Terry Bennett back here on the Muenster Football Show, now joined by the head coach of the Hornets, Coach Brady Carney. And, Coach, I know as a coach it was frustrating, but as a fan, another instant classic with Holiday, a tough loss. What were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, you probably said it best. It's probably fun to watch if you're a fan, probably from Holiday more than Muenster, but definitely an entertaining game to watch, I'm sure. As a coach, it's we were more frustrated with how we performed on special teams and defense, and not saying offense was perfect by any means, but we were able to move the football on offense and put some points up. But man, our failure on our PATs and our 2-point conversions, and then of course the block punt. And then defensively, we just didn't do a real good job at our defensive end and outside linebacker positions. Our Mike linebacker, he struggled a little bit to read his pull. So, like I said, I thought offensively we did some pretty good things at times. Defensively, we got to shore some things up moving forward. And then for sure on special teams, we just got to get better in that phase of the game.
Well, again, last year was a classic game as well. And you had a couple special teams issues in that 49-35 loss. But it feels like this year you're a little bit more frustrated with this loss than the loss last year.
Yeah, I am. Because I really feel like looking back, we were, I'm not trying to say this to be cocky. I feel like we were the better team, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Because even with all those mistakes, like I told you a while ago, you take 7 points for the blocked punt and then a PAT attempt after that. And then we missed 3 PATs and failed on 2 2-point conversions. So if we get all those, that's another 7 points. That's 14 points right there. And you're looking at a 55-39 type ball game in our favor, even though we didn't play well on defense. So yeah, I think I'm a little more disappointed this year. I thought last year they were probably the better team last year. This year I really felt like we were, and we just gave them a win. And that, don't get me wrong, they're very well coached and a good football team. I just felt like looking back, we were probably the better team the other night, and unfortunately, the scoreboard didn't read that way.
Well, this is why you play these type of non-district opponents, though. A team like Holiday will make you better in the long run.
It will, and it made us realize, I hope the kids, we've been talking about it since day one, special teams, and what we talk about is we realized from last year how important it was for us to win a state championship, what special teams played in that state championship. From Caden Clement's punt inside the 1 to Sam De La Mata's onside kick to start the game. we had a lot of great special teams play last year, and it helped us win a lot of football games. It helped us win a state championship. And sometimes it takes failure, in a certain aspect of the game to realize where you need to get better. And that's what we got to hope we take from it. Like I said to you earlier, I'm okay with a loss. As long as we can learn from it and bounce back and give a better effort and fix some things this week against Windthorst.
It is odd that in both those holiday games, your very good special teams struggled, and it's not knocking Holiday, but it was more y'all's mistake than anything Holiday did special teams wise.
Yeah, I thought when they came to block the punt, it was a great call by them in that situation. It was, time was probably 2 or 3 minutes left in the second half or something, and I'll take the blame 100% for the block punt, because I haven't worked that live yet, and we haven't sent 9 or 10 guys, whatever they brought. So we failed in what gaps we were supposed to protect and how we were supposed to protect them. So I will definitely, as a coach, take the blame on that. And that's one of those things. As a coach, you realize what you missed to prepare for in practice, and that made me open my eyes a little bit. And we're trying to get those things fixed. But yeah, man, special teams is so big, especially to win a state championship. You just got to have solid special teams. Now, I thought our kickoff, last year we gave off a kick return.
Yeah.
I thought our kickoff did a really good job the other night. We're flying down the field and doing some good things right there. We just got to shore up the rest of it.
Well, you bring up a really good point. When a team plays a tougher team, we always think about, what the kids see and what the kids learn. But as coaches, that helps you learn how to, I wasn't expecting this at this moment. I need to start preparing for that going forward.
You bet. And as a coach, like for me, I got a list of things we work on, whether it's 2-minute offense or, something as simple as, us blocking a field goal and when we need to get on it beyond the line of scrimmage or behind the line of scrimmage. So all those little things, even 2-point plays and red zone offense or inside the 5 offense, and how it's a different mentality. I got a list of that stuff, and you try to cover it, and then sometimes you just don't. And that's on me 100%. And even Coach Johnson, as our DC, he's so down on himself this week for some of the things he called early that put us in a bind defensively. He felt like he was leaning on too much pressure at times, where he should have sit back and maybe played a little bit more base. So yeah, as coaches, man, if you're not figuring out, what your weakness is, just like the players, and trying to get better in that aspect, then to me, you're not doing a very good job. You can't put all the blame on the kids. We don't as a coach, we probably fail at times, and we need to take that blame too, and get back to work and make sure we cover those things in practice.
Well, this week it's an old familiar foe, Windthorst. They're 1-1 on the year, but they lost to a very good Wichita Falls City View team, 27-20. What do you see on film when you look at the Trojans?
Man, honestly, I kind of see us from last year. I see a team that's full of juniors and seniors that have been playing now since they were freshmen and sophomores, and just they went 3 rounds deep or so last year. Played Collinsville tough. And you can just see that they've grown physically, becoming, built more like a man. They're bigger up front, I feel like. Very talented in the back end skill positions. But now they just kind of remind me of us last year, a team that looks hungry to be great and has that leadership and that, kids that have been playing a while. They have that just familiar look to me that we had last year. And really good football team, man. But they're that way every year, just like Holiday and Pottsboro and all those guys we played. This tradition, they're tradition rich on the football side and do some really good things. Very well coached, but no, they're a really good football team, man. And if we're not better than we were last week in some certain aspects, they can definitely expose us some. So we got to shore some things up this week moving forward.
Well, and in my opinion, if there's a quarterback named Belcher anywhere in that area, they're probably going to be dangerous. And Jackson Stark, man, it feels like he's grown 2 inches overnight, as that kid is one of the biggest wide receivers at the 2A division level.
Yeah, Jackson is a talented young man. He's probably 6'4", 6'5", maybe 210, 220. Does a great job, has great hands, plays really well. Brock Belcher at quarterback. Like you said, his older brother won a state championship a few years ago. Coach Belcher's son, Brock, is an exceptional kid. He's been playing since he's a freshman, runs it well, throws it extremely well, and has some weapons to throw to. And like I said, I feel like I see a big improvement up front, O-line, D-line, and then also at the running back position. I think it's Anderley kid, number 39. He is a really talented little running back, a hard running dude, and they use him a lot in the passing game as well. I think if you look at their stats and on max preps and stuff, they got 5, 6, 7 guys that all have 8 to 10 receptions. So it's not like it's just going to one dude. You have to defend everybody, every player. They're gonna make you pay.
How do you defend height?
Man, I guess you try to match up with some height. So, I don't know because, I had Danny Lutmer. He was a great wide receiver for me back in 16, 17, 18.
Yep, I remember.
He's 6'5".
Yep.
Yeah, 6'5" dude, and he high pointed it just as good as anybody. So he was catching balls that are, 8, 9 feet in the air above people. And Jackson's the same way. And Garrett Hess for me right now is an exceptional kid at 6'3" that high points the ball really well. But man, it's hard to defend height, and that's why you take those big dudes and put them out there wide a lot of times and get a mismatch with a corner that's 5'8", 145 pounds. You got 6 inches on him and 40 pounds, and it's hard to defend that. And that's something that makes them a really good football team.
Here at L4 Media, we talk high school football, 4A, 3A, and 2A in Texas. We talk East Texas sports. We talk NFL, guy talk, movie and booze. We also talk wrestling and so much more. And you can see it all on our YouTube channel at L4 Media Company. Like and subscribe. Terry Bennett back here on the Muenster Coaches Show. As always, thanks to the head coach, Brady Carney, for joining us here. As it's going to be a fun matchup this week. I think Windthorst is better than they were last year. I think Coach Carney said it best that he looks at them kind of like how he looked at Muenster last year. A young team has a lot of talent. They need to get a little bit of depth under them. So like you've got a bunch of juniors and sophomores this year. You need some freshmen also to step up. And that team will continue to develop. And I think they're going to be really dangerous next year. I mean, this is going to be, I think, a tough game. And it always is with Windthorst. Again, another program that Muenster has a really solid, fun rivalry with. And I think this is going to be one of the better Trojans teams that Muenster has seen over the last couple of years. Again, if you have any questions, thoughts, or comments, or if you'd like to advertise on the show, we could use some more advertisers here on the Muenster Football Show. We do appreciate the Booster Club being a sponsor. Just reach out to me, Terry at S2SSport.com. Hey, the one great thing is, Muenster's going to be playing a while, so we've still got at least 11 episodes, 12 episodes at the least, I would imagine. But anyway, until next week, I'm Terry Bennett, and this has been the Muenster Football Show right here on L4 Media.